Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. Today I have two replays to show you in the tier 10 British heavy tank, the FV215B. This tank has recently had a slight buff to the armour profile, and it's basically the point, if you're looking just underneath the gun ring on the right and the left, there's a little bit which sticks out, and that armour has been buffed, so it's increased the armour, which essentially helps you when you're side scraping. That point used to be a little bit of a weak point, and they've increased the armour to sort of help with that. It's only a slight buff. It hasn't made a humongous difference, if I'm honest, but it's always nice to have a little bit of love to the 215B. This is one of my favourite British tier 10 heavy tanks. It's definitely not the easiest of it to use because it's obviously the rear mounted turret, but I've always really enjoyed it. This tank does get set on fire a lot. You get set on fire all the time because it's the engine's in the front. So this is the only tank I actually run both the fire prevention crew and the firefighting perk on. So here we are on the first map then, and no one's really come down to this sort of heavy side, and we're playing very aggressively on Dragon's Ridge because, to be honest, I'm not a massive fan of Dragon's Ridge, so I was taking a little bit of gamble, but it's kind of paid off at the start where I managed to pick up 2,000 assistance because I've been quite aggressive, knowing that there's no one really here. My plan is to try and get up on the ridge just to, mainly detect everything, because I know I've got tanks which are covering me, and you can see that Conway just picked up a kill and given me some more assistance on that Sturm Tiger. There's another Sturm Tiger there, and I'm pretty confident there's going to be quite a few tank destroyers up on top of this ridge. And really, I'm just, you've got to say, I'm rear mounted, so it's awkward for me to poke. Although I do have 10 degrees of gun depression in this tank, it can be a little bit awkward. I'm just trying to keep everything detected. Now, the main strong point of this tank is the gun is absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, I get caught out there by the grill who puts a shot into us. But you've got 400 alpha on this tank, and the gun's just, is awesome. You don't even need to run stabs because the accuracy is so good. It just always hits where you want to hit, and it's got fantastic DPM. So I'm in an awkward situation now because I've got the grill on my left where I tried to get a shot in, but I've also got these tanks on my right on the top of the ridge. I'm kind of conscious that the grill's coming behind me, but now this E3 is full sending me. I go for the track just to try and track them in place, hoping our team's going to get a shot in. Try and get a shot in for the lower plate, but I do ricochet, and now I'm not in the situation I want to be in because the E3 is face hugging me, and his cupola is very difficult for me to pen. And to be honest, he's not going to struggle to pen me like this. So I'm trying to pull back and hope that my friendly team are going to put shots in. You see I'm pulling back on the right. I'm trying to put the E3 in a position where he's going to get shot in the side. That's exactly what happens, and it puts him onto a one shot now. It looks like he's going to put a second shot into me. I think he might have bounced that shot, which is going to give me enough time to get round the side and actually pick up the kill. I put the shot into the track wheel just to stop him turning, and now I will, with his fantastic reload, pick up that kill for my first actual bit of damage in this game. But I have managed to pick up 5,000 assistance, so I've done the spotting really well, and now I've got a time to try and pick up a little bit of damage. Get a nice shot into this enemy Italian medium, should pick up the kill, and we do confirming our second kill of the game and putting us on 1,000 damage. Still quite a close game though. But we've had a decent start to this, not necessarily in the damage front, only with 1,000 damage. We're picking up 5,000 assistance, it's put us on to 6,000 combined. Now that should give me a little bit of freedom to poke this ridge again to see if there's any more tanks there. But I've just spotted a tank destroyer which is behind us. It's a T-30, and there's a tank in the right hand side of this corner which is the Badger. Now I'm thinking about trying to deal with this Badger, but depending if this Badger's hold down, it's going to be a right nuisance for me to deal with because the Badger's got fantastic DPM and fantastic armour if it's using its gun depression on the ridge line. But thankfully for me, he exposes the lower plate, which does allow us to put a shot in. I'm kind of concerned right now. I can't push this Badger because this Badger will just destroy us with his DPM. I'll never get there in time. He'll kill me in sort of 2 to 3 shots. But I'm also worried about the T30 on the right hand side. Well, I was worried about the T30 on the right hand side, but that's got taken out by our friendly light tank now, so I don't have to be concerned about getting leaned upon. But I'm just being a little bit patient because I do want to destroy this enemy badger so I can try and get round and just clear the path, because I don't want to approach the top, the ridge where I was earlier. I don't want to cross up the top because there's lots of tank destroyers. They're probably looking to get shots into us. And the light tank now, our friendly light tank, has actually gone behind these tanks, which is going to turn them. He's also spotted a Ruthless. I am going to try and now go in and use this as the opportunity, to use this as the window I needed to get closer to the badger, so I'm actually able to try and deal with them. So the light tank did a good job of turning those tanks. Actually, it did lose quite a few hit points for it, but it has at least allowed us to actually close the gap. Now there's a Sturm, sorry, it's not a Ruthless round, it was a Sturm Tiger, I believe, sorry, who is now on a 2-shot, maybe a 1-shot to us. So I'm going to try and see if I can pick up the kill on this enemy Sturm here. We do get a nice shot, and we don't roll quite high enough to pick up the kill, but we should be able to finish this Sturm Tiger off now. And that puts the badger here onto a 2-shot to us, unless we high roll. Should be able to squeeze one into the lower plate, just trying to pull back and squeeze in that shot here. We do put them on 1-shot now, and puts on about 2,200 damage. We bounce a shot there, and now we should try and go in and just pick up this kill. But it gets taken out by our friendly light tank. It did a good job of turning those tanks around. And it is just 2 enemy tank destroyers left. Now one is a Ruthless this time, and one's the Soviet tank destroyer. I'm pretty confident, you know, they're going to be directly in front of us on the other side of this ridge. I'm pretty sure about that. It looks like our light tank's going to come around and spot them. He does spot them, which just allows me to get some shots in. And you can just see when stuff gets caught out in the open by this tank, the DPM is fantastic. It's just a little bit awkward to use because, like I say, you're this rear-mounted turret. But it does mean it is quite good at side scraping. And the accuracy on this tank is just fantastic. Easily able just to pick out that Capola, just, you know, really quickly there, putting us into 3,400 damage with 5,300 assistance and 3 kills. So we're having a good game, but I want to try and get as much damage out of this as I can. I also don't want to throw my tank, because I can get 1 shot here by the Ruthless, who, you know, potentially could be looking this way. So I am being pretty careful, but the Ruthless gets detected. He's not paying attention, and then we just sling a shot into him. Hopefully we can try and get a second one in before we get round out into the open. Into cover, sorry. We do picking up another shot of damage, putting us into 4,000 damage, and it's just this enemy 1-shot Ruthless. Now this Soviet Heavy, which I assume is going to not be facing this way now, so I'm going to try and see if we can, you know, get a few more shots out of this game if possible. Doesn't look like we've got a shot, but now we do get presented a shot, and that brings us into the first replay with 1 more replay to come, which is a bit more centered around the damage. This replay we get 3 kills, 5,000 damage, 5,000 assistance with a tiny bit blocked, getting 10k to bind, and the ace tanker. So that's it for replay number 1, but let's move on to final replay. Okay, so we made it to replay number 2. There is 2 enemy light tanks in the game, 1 enemy artillery, and quite a few tank destroyers. Mainly because there's currently that Armour for the tank destroyer, so it kind of ruins the matchmaking a little bit. Everyone's sort of forced to play the tank destroyer, and quite surprisingly, I started this game with actually 2 penetrations worth of damage, which I wasn't expecting to get. So I'm quite happy with that. The MTB kind of makes a mistake, and I get a few shots of damage right off the back. So now we're going to try and go to sort of the 1-2 line fight. And see what we can do, and just hope to get into a bit of a brawl. There's no artillery, which is nice. It's going to give us a little bit more freedom up in this area, maybe using the ridges. We don't, you know, we've got a little bit more positions we can play with not having to worry about the artillery. So making our way to the position. Then, like I say, we actually blocked 400 damage there, I've realised, which is a surprise. Someone must have tried to blind fire us. We get a nice shot there into the enemy light tank as well. A little bit risky on my crossing here, but I wanted to try and get up onto this ridge. Putting this onto 1,200 damage before we've even really got into the main fight. So a nice start to this game. We're going to try and peek this ridge. So we've got to be careful because this is where the rear mounted turret is a little bit awkward because you've got 10 degrees of gun depression, but unlike the Chieftain where I could sort of just over poke onto this heavy tank in the bottom, it's a little bit hard, as you can see me, to do that. Trying not to get exposed my lower plate, but it looks like I'm probably going to have to towards to get this shot in. And like I said, this tank is, because of the engine is at the front, it can get set on fire quite a lot. Like you could even drop like vents and run the increased durability equipment on the fuel tank potentially if you did get frustrated with getting set on fire too much, or you could run the automatic fire extinguisher. But we managed to kind of farm this Conqueror here, putting this onto 3,000 damage now. Super Conqueror comes around into low ground. We put one shot into him. I want to be a little bit careful because I don't want to push into this Super Conqueror because he could have tanks covering him, which he does. Also, the second I get into that low ground, I'm going to be in a situation where I can get shot by the enemy artillery. But our friendly tank who's got ammo rack there, it's actually left us his turret, and I'm trying to use that turret to my advantage to actually protect my lower plate while I'm poking. Enemy bar is now coming round. Now this is a tank I do not want to get dirt by, and I'm a bit concerned about that. I shoot the track wheel to try and stop it happening, but he uses repair kit. He does have awful gun depression, but now I'm thinking, yeah, I'm taking a big hit here and this is not going to be fun. But thankfully, somehow I think his shot actually, I don't know if it gets absorbed in my gun or I don't know where his shot went, but I'm incredibly grateful that I didn't just lose majority of my hit points. And we're now in a close game. It's 9 versus 8, but I'm on 5,000 damage. But no one is really up on this side of the ridge with me. All my tanks or TDs around the other side. So I'm concerned about staying where I am, just in case the tanks forcing over that ridge into me and I'm left by myself with no real cover, because our tanks at the back of the base, they'll be out of render range to even help us from from there. They're too far back. So I'm going to have to pull back, and I just try and not put myself in a silly situation, because I'm kind of expecting that Super Conqueror or tanks going to come around that side, and I want to be in a better position to deal with them, where I can at least pull them into my friendly tank destroyers to help me. But no one really appears. They're not. I'm expecting a tank's going to come around there any minute, and it's not really happening for me. So I think maybe they're not pushing. Maybe they're a bit scared that they have got tanks covering that angle. But I'm just trying to leave it as long as I possibly can, because, like I say, it is a close game. It's 8 versus 7. But I am getting a little bit impatient now, and decided, you know what, I'm going to go back up there and try and get into a fight. It doesn't look like they're going to be coming for me. And I'm just getting a bit agitated, but you know, see, I'm still hesitant about that these tanks could come down this, because if they come down and I'm in this position, I can pull back around this rock and I'll be safe and I'll be able to get some shots in. But it's not happening. They're not coming this way. I don't want to leave it too long just in case the enemy team are farming our friendly tank destroyers. I want to try and do some damage, because I want to make sure we win this game. There's an enemy Rhino to our right. There's an enemy Super Conqueror still in the low ground. I guess he can't get round because the too many tank destroyers are looking at them. I'm going to try and use this turret again to just block my lower plate so I can put in a shot into this Rhino, making it hard for him to get a shot into us. Not too sure where that shot went. Tried to shoot his drive wheel there, which is a shame, because it would have been nice to track him out in the open. Like I said, it's really thankful for this dead turret, which makes it harder to hit my lower plate. Looks like the Rhino's going to come up again. We slap one into his drive wheel there, tracking him in place, but uses his repair kit to get out of there. But he's still on the ridge, and I should still be able to get another opportunity to get a shot in. We do put him onto a one shot. If I can finish this tank, it'd be helpful to kill the Super Conqueror. Now that tank's dead, we can try and look at the Super Conqueror, but there is an enemy grill there now, which has got the covering shot in. Don't really want to lose 750 damage from the grill. I want to try and get a shot into the... Like I said, I could push down into Super Conqueror and kill the Super Conqueror. The problem is I might eat a shot of the grill, and also I can then get shot by the artillery, which is a concern. But we do manage to squeeze one into that Super Conqueror's turret while he's distracted, and put him onto a one shot there now. Just going to see if this grill fires. If the grill fires, it's going to give us a green light to go in and kill this one-shot Super Conqueror now. But you can see the enemy artillery. The front police is aiming at me. We did have the indicator there, so we know he is looking for shots this way. But the grill gets tracked and allows me to put in a kill shot, putting us under 6,600 damage with 2 kills. I am going to go in now and just kill this one-shot Super Conqueror, eat the shot if need be. We do eat the shot, we put in the shot though, we pick up the kill, putting us under just shy of 7,000 damage with 3 kills and 4 enemy tanks remaining. One is the enemy light tank, which is a Tusk, I believe, and then we got the enemy artillery, enemy tank destroyer and the enemy heavy tank. So I suspect that you're probably going to have maybe the artillery at like A0 potentially, and then you're going to have some of the tank destroyers maybe in the where that Tusk has just got spotted. So my team are ahead of me on the left, and I want to try and get some damage. So I'm going to go a more direct route to try and spot the hill at the top and see if we can then get any damage, maybe some assistance from our friendly tank destroyer in the spawn. Because I don't think I'm going to get to the artillery which has been detected before my friendly team kill them. But the Leopard, the enemy medium, is got spotted on the right hand side here. I may have some shots potentially into this Leopard. So I'm going to, hopefully if he gets detected again, I might be able to shoot him in the side. He will also be able to shoot me. Enemy tank destroyer gets detected. We squeeze in that shot, putting us onto over 7,000 damage now. And now this Leopard, if this Leopard pokes up again, we should be able to squeeze in the shot, which we do, putting that Leopard onto a 1-shot, and that's now into a 6 versus 3 now. I'd like to just finish off that Leopard so he doesn't shoot me climbing. So I'm keeping my gun this way, but I'm also just going to keep travelling because I want to get to the rest of the damage. You know, we're having a good game, 7,000 damage. It'd be nice to get a little bit more out of it. We're detected, that's bound to be from the Leopard. He's now looking at us. We're going to go for the blind fire, but he's actually on the opposite side of the ridge, not the right side I was blind firing, which is a shame. He has now put us on to, well, just shy of 1,000 damage. Do manage to squeeze in a kill row there, which is good, putting us into 4 kills, 8,000 damage. He does put a shot into us though, which means we're now 1-shot to that enemy tank destroyer. We could be a 1-shot to the Tusk, because the Tusk could just derp us and he managed to get behind us. And it's just 1 tank remaining now, but the enemy light tank, the enemy Tusk, is pretty healthy. We're on 8,000 damage and 4 kills, but we could potentially get to sort of around 9,000 damage if we're able to get a couple of shots into this light tank. I don't think there's anywhere you can really go at this point. I'm trying to look for this light tank. I'm trying to, we've got a 1-shot medium here. I'm just trying to cross up to the top. I suspect he's just sitting in a little dip. Our friendly tank destroyer is going around, so I'm kind of thinking our tank destroyer is going to detect him at any moment now. But weirdly, the tank destroyer hasn't spotted him, so I'm thinking, oh, has he dropped down off of this ridge and gone into the sort of low ground water? Because I would have thought the tank destroyer would have detected him here. So I think that's where he must have gone. So I'm going to go and try and look and see if we can find him. So I've got to be a little bit careful because we can be 1-shotted by this Tusk if he rolls high. Yeah, if he pens us, we're definitely be 1-shot, or he could splash us potentially. He could also just set us on fire. So we've got to be a little bit careful. I don't want to drop down just in case he's not there, and if he's not there, it's going to take me forever to get back up. But I'm thinking, where the hell has this light tank actually gone? Because I just couldn't see many places for him to escape, and it's a little bit awkward just trying to find this light tank. And I'm thinking he must have dropped down, but then I just don't want to drop down and then him not be there. So I'm just kind of hanging around waiting for this light tank to get detected. Our friendly artillery has now dropped off and killed itself, which is not ideal. I think at this point I thought he didn't. I thought the Tusk shot him, and that's why he maybe fell off. So I'm just looking to see if I can proxy spot him if he's in the low ground. But yeah, it's just he's vanished. I don't know where he is. And now I'm thinking, is he just in that dip up the top? There is a little up the top. There's a little dip you can sort of slide in. And I'm thinking maybe is he in this little dip? But I thought the reason I didn't think he was there is because our friendly tank destroyer actually drove right past the dip and didn't spot him, and I thought that was weird. why didn't he detect him? So, but now I'm thinking maybe he is there. So I'm going to go and have a little peek and see if we can find him, because you know he must be around here somewhere. He couldn't have just vanished from the map. So I'm going to see if we can spot him. Like I say, there is a little dip you can hide behind if you can do so without falling off, and it's just around the right hand side here. And he is here. We proxy spot him, and this is where I thought a re4 would have spotted him. And he's been a little bit sneaky. We get a nice shot in. He actually doesn't manage to pen us. We hope we should get a second shot into this light tank now, which we do. Puts him onto one shot, puts us onto just shy of 9,000 damage. And I'm obviously a one shot to Tusk 2, trying to chase him down right now, but can't find him. I don't know if he sort of ran down the bottom, but he actually gives me the little slipperoo here, and then catches me off guard. And yeah, he's going to kill me now. There's no way I can turn in time. So it is a shame we ended up not getting the kill in the Tusk, but we do go on to win this game. But what I'm going to do is just skip to the scoreboard so you can see the final result. There you go. We do manage to get the win in the end. And we finished this game with 4 kills, just shy of 9,000 damage, 500 assistance, and we do get the ace of tanker and the high caliber. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy tanking.
Hadouken!